So what is my favorite party camera? Well, it's no secret that my favorite camera is the Olympus 35 RC, right? However, that camera is impractical in low light situations or indoors at night in venues such as house parties or events that are sort of indoors in low light. I know I could use one of the flashes that I demonstrated in a previous video. However, apart from just the low light situation, it's also quite impractical to focus manually in a party situation where people are moving around all the time and there might not just be enough, contrast in the picture for a rangefinder to focus properly. So in such scenarios, I usually shoot something like this. This is the Olympus Mju 1, not to be confused with the Stylus Epic, which is the Mju 2. I think this one is just called the Olympus Stylus in other parts of the world. Here it's called the Olympus Mju 1. Mju, I believe, is Greek for M, I think, if my school days haven't completely vanished from my head. So I like this camera in particular because it's got a beautiful 35mm lens, f3.5, which is fast enough. It's not as fast as its sibling, the Mju 2, which has an f2.8 lens, which is also sharper than this one, but they're both glass lenses, so they're pretty high quality. And at f5.6, f8, f11, you probably can't tell the difference between the pictures we're taking with a Mju 1 and a Mju 2. Someone did a really good test of both cameras. I'm going to link that in the description if you're interested to see the difference in this camera and that one. Also, this one isn't weather sealed, so don't take it out in the rain, but hopefully it doesn't rain indoors unless someone sets off the fire alarm system. So someone asked me the other day, Ade, do you only ever shoot film? Of course not. I've got at least 2 digital cameras that I use really regularly. One is the Sony a6000 that I'm recording this video on at the moment. But I'm not going to take that to a party because... And of course, I've got my iPhone, which is a great camera. I use it all the time, but it's not very good in low light situations such as in a party because, again, even though it takes great photos, you know, they've really improved its low light capability. This is an iPhone 6s. So yeah, the low light capability is a lot better than it used to be, but still with the small sensor size of a smartphone camera, it's still like not very good in low light. You get a lot of noise and sort of digital noise that isn't anywhere as nice as grain. Whereas this camera, I can pop in an 800 film and I can still push it actually to 1600 if I wish. But of course with a flash, I don't need to. The flash on this is a lot stronger than the smartphone flash. And also it's actually a lot smaller in terms of profile than the iPhone, even though it's not as thin as the iPhone. I find that this fits just as nicely in a pocket, for instance, than an iPhone. It's also immeasurably cheaper than an iPhone. So if this were to get stolen, I wouldn't be that heartbroken as if my phone was stolen. Obviously, I always also carry my phone, but that usually just sits in my pocket in a really secure part of my outfit. Another thing is, of course, this has got a beautiful fast glass lens and a giant sensor, i.e. 35mm film, and you just can't get anywhere near that with one of these. So yeah, you have the autofocus and the flash, and just how quickly you can take a picture with this. It's amazing. You just open it, bam, ready to go. The only problem is, of course, that when you turn it on, the flash comes on immediately. So if you don't need flash or you don't want to use flash, you have to remember to turn off the flash. And it's not persistent. It doesn't remember that. So if you turn it off and turn it back on again, the flash is on again. So you have to remember to turn the flash off if you don't need it. Alas, because I do not party that much anymore, I don't use the Mju 1 that much anymore. So it usually just lives on my shelf now. So sadly, it's one of the cameras that's going to be leaving my possession via the wonderful Etsy store. So if you're interested, I've popped it on there. Oh, by the way, I'm now posting to the United States, to Canada, to some EU countries, and I think Australia. I'm still figuring out the rest. I wish you a fantastic Valentine's Day. I hope you're with someone that you love, and I am going to take a sip from my Spider-Man cup.